Imagine walking into a fancy car dealership, ready to buy your dream ride, but the employee looks at you and says you can't afford it, just because of how you look. That's exactly what happened to Darius Brooks, and you won't believe what he does next. Hey, it's your guy here, and today I've got a story that's going to make your blood boil and your heart cheer. We're talking about Darius Brooks, a music producer who's worked hard to get where he is. But when he steps into a luxury car dealership to buy a new ride, he gets judged in the worst way possible. This is all about standing up for respect, fighting discrimination, and making sure people are held accountable. Let's get into it. It's a sunny Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles, and the city is buzzing with its usual energy. The streets are packed with people grabbing coffee, jogging along the sidewalks, and snapping pictures of the palm trees lining the roads. Over on Sunset Boulevard, there's a shiny glass-walled building with a big sign that says Elite Motors. This isn't your average car dealership. It's the kind of place where millionaires go to buy cars that cost more than most people's houses. The showroom is sparkling clean, with sleek sports cars and SUVs lined up under bright lights. Their paint jobs so glossy you can see your reflection in them. There's a red Ferrari in the corner, a black Rolls-Royce in the middle, and a silver Porsche that looks like it could fly. The air smells like new leather and expensive cologne, and soft jazz music plays through hidden speakers, making the whole place feel like a dream. Darius Brooks walks in, and he's feeling good. He's 35 years old with a short fade haircut, a neatly trimmed beard, and a casual but sharp style. Today he's wearing a black leather jacket, dark jeans, and clean white sneakers. He's got a gold chain around his neck that glints under the showroom lights, and he's carrying a small backpack slung over one shoulder. Darius isn't just any guy. He's a music producer who's worked with some of the biggest names in hip-hop. He's the guy behind 3 chart-topping albums this year, and his bank account is looking as good as his beats. He's here to buy a new car, something flashy to celebrate his latest Grammy nomination. He's had his eye on a midnight blue Maserati Gran Turismo, a car that's fast, sleek, and perfect for cruising through LA at night. As Darius steps inside, he takes a deep breath, soaking in the moment. He's been dreaming of this day for years. Growing up in a small apartment in Chicago, he used to watch music videos on an old TV, mesmerized by the shiny cars the artist drove. His dad, a janitor who worked double shifts to keep food on the table, always told him, "Work hard, Darius, and one day you'll have everything you dream of." Now here he is, ready to make that dream real. He walks over to the Maserati, running his hand along the smooth hood, picturing himself driving it with the windows down, music blasting through the speakers. But then a voice cuts through his thoughts like a knife. "Excuse me, sir," the voice says, sharp and cold. Darius turns around to see a man in a crisp navy suit, his blonde hair slicked back, a shiny name tag on his chest that says Brad, sales associate. Brad's got a fake smile plastered on his face, but his blue eyes are hard, like he's already made up his mind about Darius. "Can I help you with something?" Brad asks, his tone making it clear he doesn't really want to help. Darius smiles, keeping his cool. "Yeah, I'm interested in this Maserati," he says, nodding at the car. "I'd like to take a closer look. Maybe talk about pricing." Brad's smile doesn't budge, but his eyes narrow just a little. He looks Darius up and down, taking in his sneakers, his jacket, his gold chain, and something shifts in his expression. "This Maserati?" Brad says, raising an eyebrow. "It's a high-end model, sir. Starts at $220,000. Are you sure you're in the right place?" Darius blinks, caught off guard. He's been in enough situations to know what's happening here, but it still stings. "Yeah, I'm sure," he says, his voice steady. "I'd like to see the car." Brad lets out a small laugh, the kind that's meant to sound polite but feels like a slap. "Look, I don't mean to be rude," he says, even though he's about to be, "but this isn't the kind of car most people can just walk in and buy. Maybe you'd be more comfortable looking at something more in your budget? We've got some great used sedans in the back lot." The words hit Darius like a punch to the gut. He feels the heat rising in his chest, but he doesn't let it show. He's dealt with this kind of thing before. People looking at him, seeing a black man, and assuming he doesn't belong in a place like this. But today it feels personal. This is his moment, his reward for years of hard work, and this guy is trying to take it away with a few sneaky words. "I'm not here for a used sedan," Darius says, his voice firm. "I want this Maserati. Can you help me or not?" Brad's fake smile fades, and now he's not even trying to hide his attitude. "Listen, buddy," he says, crossing his arms. "I've been in this business for 15 years. I know who can afford these cars and who can't. And honestly, you don't look like you've got $220,000 to spend. So why don't you stop wasting my time and head out? I've got real customers to deal with." The showroom feels like it's shrinking around Darius. A couple of other customers, a middle-aged white guy in a polo shirt and a woman in a designer dress, glance over, their eyes curious but cold. A young salesman at the front desk looks up from his computer, his face a mix of shock and embarrassment, but he doesn't say anything. Darius stands there, his heart pounding, feeling the weight of every eye on him. This isn't just about a car anymore. This is about respect, or the lack of it. Darius takes a deep breath, his hands tightening into fists for a second before he forces them to relax. He's not the kind of guy who yells or makes a scene. He's learned to keep his cool, even when people try to tear him down. Growing up in Chicago, he saw how his dad handled stuff like this. His dad would come home from work some days, his uniform dirty, his shoulders slumped, and tell Darius about the rich folks who'd look right through him like he wasn't even there. "Don't let 'em get to you, son," his dad would say, his voice tired but strong. "You're bigger than their small minds." Darius has carried that advice with him his whole life, through the late nights in the studio, the rejections from record labels, the whispers behind his back when he started making it big. And now, standing in this dealership, he knows he's not going to let Brad win. "I'm not leaving," Darius says, his voice low but steady. "I came here to buy a car, and that's what I'm going to do. If you're not going to help me, I'll find someone who will." Brad rolls his eyes like Darius is a kid throwing a tantrum. "Suit yourself," he says, turning away. "But don't say I didn't warn you. You're not walking out of here with that Maserati. Not today, not ever." He walks over to the couple in the polo shirt and designer dress, putting on his fake smile again, acting like Darius doesn't even exist. Darius feels a fire burning in his chest, but he doesn't let it take over. He pulls out his phone and starts scrolling through his contacts, his thumb hovering over a name he knows can help. See, Darius isn't just a music producer. He's got friends in high places. One of them is Marcus Tate, a big-time entrepreneur who owns a chain of car dealerships across California, including Elite Motors. Darius met Marcus at a charity event last year, where they bonded over their shared love of fast cars and their experiences as black men trying to make it in a world that doesn't always want them to succeed. Marcus gave Darius his number and said, "If you ever need anything, hit me up." Now Darius is about to take him up on that offer. He steps outside the dealership for a minute, the warm LA sun hitting his face as he dials Marcus's number. The phone rings twice before Marcus picks up, his deep voice booming through the line. "Darius, my man, what's good?" "Yo, Marcus," Darius says, keeping his voice calm, even though he's still fuming inside. "I'm at Elite Motors on Sunset, trying to buy a Maserati, but your guy Brad here is giving me a hard time. He's acting like I can't afford it, telling me I don't belong here. I need your help, man." There's a pause on the other end, and then Marcus's voice comes back, sharp and serious. "He said what?" Marcus asks, and Darius can hear the anger in his tone. "Nah, that's not okay. I'm on my way. Don't go anywhere." Darius hangs up and heads back inside, his heart still racing, but his mind a little clearer. He knows Marcus is the kind of guy who doesn't mess around. If he says he's coming, he's coming. While he waits, Darius walks over to the Maserati again, taking a closer look at the car. The interior is all black leather, with red stitching on the seats that makes it look like something out of a movie. The dashboard is sleek, with a big touchscreen in the middle, and the steering wheel has the Maserati logo stamped right in the center. Darius can already imagine himself driving this car down the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean on one side, the mountains on the other, his favorite beats playing through the speakers. He's not going to let Brad take this moment away from him. Back in the showroom, Brad is still chatting with the couple, showing them a silver Bentley like he's the king of the world. Every once in a while, he glances over at Darius, his smirk saying everything. He thinks Darius is just wasting his time, that he'll leave soon enough. The other customers are starting to whisper now, their eyes darting between Darius and Brad, sensing the tension in the air. The young salesman at the front desk, a kid who can't be more than 20, keeps looking over at Darius like he wants to say something, but doesn't know how. About 15 minutes later, the glass doors of the dealership swing open, and Marcus Tate walks in. He's a big guy, over 6 feet tall, with a shaved head and a tailored gray suit that fits him like a glove. He's got a presence that makes everyone in the room turn and look, like he owns the place, which technically he does. Marcus spots Darius right away and heads over, his face a mix of concern and determination. "Darius," he says, clapping him on the shoulder. "You okay, man?" "Yeah, I'm good," Darius says, nodding. "But this guy, Brad, he's got a problem with me being here." Marcus's jaw tightens and he turns to look at Brad, who's still with the couple but has noticed Marcus's arrival. Brad's fake smile falters for a second and he excuses himself from the couple, walking over with a nervous look on his face. "Mr. Tate," Brad says, his voice suddenly a lot more polite. "I didn't know you were coming in today. Is there something I can help you with?" "Yeah, there is," Marcus says, his voice like thunder. "I want to know why you're treating my friend here like he doesn't belong. Darius tells me you questioned if he could afford a car, told him to leave. Is that true?" Brad's face goes pale and he stammers for a second, trying to find the right words. I I didn't mean it like that, sir," he says, his hands fidgeting at his sides. I just, I thought he might be more comfortable with a different model, that's all. I was trying to help." Marcus crosses his arms, his eyes narrowing. "Trying to help?" he repeats, his tone icy. "You looked at a black man and decided he couldn't afford a car in your showroom. That's not helping, Brad. That's discrimination. And I don't tolerate that in my dealership." The showroom goes quiet, the jazz music still playing softly in the background, but feeling out of place now. The couple Brad was helping earlier is watching with wide eyes, the woman clutching her purse like she's not sure what to do. The young salesman at the desk looks like he wants to disappear, his hands frozen on his keyboard. Darius stands there, his arms crossed, watching the whole thing unfold, feeling a mix of relief and anger as Marcus takes control. Marcus turns to Darius, his expression softening for a second. "Which car did you want, man?" he asks, nodding toward the showroom. Darius points at the midnight blue Maserati. "That one," he says, his voice steady. "The Gran Turismo." Marcus nods, then turns back to Brad, his face hard again. "You're done here," he says, his voice leaving no room for argument. "Pack your stuff and get out. You're fired." Brad's mouth drops open, and for a second he looks like he might argue. But, but Mr. Tate," he stammers. "I've been here for years. You can't just—" "I can and I am," Marcus cuts him off, his tone sharp. "You disrespected my customer, my friend, and my business. I don't care how long you've been here. You're out now." Brad stands there, his face red, his hands shaking as he realizes there's no coming back from this. He mutters something under his breath, then storms off toward the back of the dealership, slamming a door behind him. The sound echoes through the showroom, making the couple jump a little. The young salesman at the desk looks like he's about to cry, his eyes wide as he watches Brad disappear. Marcus turns to Darius, his expression softening again. "I'm so sorry you had to deal with that," he says, his voice sincere. "That's not how we do things here. Let's get you that Maserati, and I'm giving you a 15% discount to make up for this mess." Darius feels a weight lift off his shoulders, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Appreciate that, Marcus," he says, shaking his hand. "Means a lot." Marcus calls over the young salesman, who practically runs to them, his hands trembling as he pulls up the paperwork for the Maserati. "Let's get this done," Marcus says, his tone firm but kind. "And Darius, anything else you need, you let me know, all right?" Darius nods, feeling a sense of pride wash over him as he watches the salesman start the process. He's not just getting the car he wanted, he's getting the respect he deserves. And Brad? He's out of a job, a harsh reminder that actions have consequences. An hour later, Darius is driving his new midnight blue Maserati Gran Turismo down Sunset Boulevard, the engine purring like a cat as he weaves through traffic. The black leather seats are soft under him, the red stitching glowing in the late afternoon sun. The touchscreen on the dashboard lights up as he connects his phone, playing one of his own beats through the speakers, the bass thumping just the way he likes it. He rolls down the windows, letting the warm LA air rush in, and for the first time all day, he feels free. This car isn't just a car. It's a symbol of everything he's worked for, everything he's overcome. Back at Elite Motors, Marcus doesn't stop with firing Brad. He gathers the rest of the staff for an emergency meeting that same afternoon, his voice echoing through the showroom as he lays down the law. What happened today was unacceptable, he tells them, his arms crossed, his face serious. We're not just selling cars here. We're building trust. And that means treating every single customer with respect, no matter who they are or what they look like. Starting tomorrow, we're doing new training for everyone. I want to make sure this never happens again. The young salesman who helped Darius with the paperwork, a kid named Tyler, nods quickly, his face pale but determined. He's been working at the dealership for just 6 months, and he's never seen Marcus this mad before. But he's also never seen someone stand up for a customer the way Marcus did for Darius, and it makes him want to do better. He promises himself he'll speak up next time he sees something wrong, no matter how nervous it makes him. Word of what happened spreads fast. A few customers who were in the dealership during the whole thing post about it on social media, sharing Darius's story with hashtags like Number Justice for Darius and Number Elite Motors Does Right. The posts get thousands of likes and shares, and soon local news stations are calling Marcus for interviews. He uses the opportunity to talk about the changes he's making at the dealership, vowing to create a space where everyone feels welcome. We messed up, he tells one reporter, his voice steady, but we're going to fix it. That's my promise. Darius, meanwhile, parks his new Maserati outside his studio in downtown LA, the blue paint gleaming under the streetlights as the sun sets. He takes a picture of the car and posts it on Instagram, captioning it, "Dreams don't wait for permission. Got my Maserati today, thanks to my brother Marcus for having my back." The post blows up, with fans and friends flooding the comments with fire emojis and messages of support. "You deserve this, King," one person writes. "Proud of you for standing up," says another. Darius reads through the comments, a big smile on his face, feeling like he's on top of the world. This story isn't just about a car. It's about respect, accountability, and the power of standing up for yourself. Darius Brooks didn't let Brad's prejudice stop him from getting what he deserved. He fought back, and in doing so, he made sure Elite Motors would think twice before treating anyone else that way. It's a reminder that no one gets to decide your worth but you. And when you know your worth, nothing can hold you back. If this story fired you up, hit that subscribe button for more like it.